here from the Female Entrepreneur Association, and welcome to another weekly dose of inspiration to build a successful business. So, one of the most important things about your business is how it makes people feel. So the emotions people feel and the experiences that people have when they interact with your business play such a huge role in determining whether or not those people will go on to become your customers. So really understanding what the heart and soul of your business is, really understanding how you want to make people feel and the experience that you want to create for people, and then integrating that into everything you do is so important in business. If you look at any successful business out there, that is what they do. They do it so well. They'll take that core of their business, that heart and soul of their business, those beliefs, those values, that personality, and they'll integrate it in everything they do, whether it's a post on social media, whether it's a video, whether it's a product or service, and they'll integrate it. And the idea is that if somebody plopped into your business from wherever and they spent a couple of minutes looking at what you have to offer, they should be able to pick up quite quickly what that heart and soul of your business is, what it's all about, what those values are, and then they should be able to gauge as well really quickly whether or not they resonate with it, whether they resonate with you, because that's what we do. You know, if you went into somebody's shop or if you go onto a website, you gauge really quickly whether or not it's something that you resonate with, whether you like it, whether it makes you feel good. So integrating that touchy-feely stuff into business is so important. But I also think it's really hard to do sometimes because it's so intangible, it is so airy-fairy, and it's just all about these feely kind of emotions and things, and it's kind of hard to put your finger on it. And not only is it quite hard to put your finger on it, and you know, sometimes you do feel like you're just plucking these beliefs and values out of the air, but not only that, it's kind of hard to stay aligned to it every single day. So whenever you create a piece of content, whenever you put a post out on social media, whenever you create and come up with a new idea for a product or service, you have to always be aligning that back up with that core business message, and that's quite hard. I know that there have been times in the past where I felt totally out of sync with my business and felt like I'm just not in tune with it anymore, and I felt disconnected from it. And it's always in those phases where I end up feeling a bit lost and confused as to what the heck it's all about anymore. And that is also a telling sign of when I'm in one of these phases is when I'm really struggling to create new content or come up with new ideas for things to do with like social media or even stuff on the blog or the website, because I'm just not really quite sure what I'm trying to do with it all, and it's not a great feeling. So one of the things that has helped me so much with all of this stuff, with really getting closer to my business and uncovering that heart and soul, but to staying aligned to it, is by having a business manifesto. And this is not a boring business manifesto. I call it the heart and soul manifesto, because it's really about what goes to the heart and soul of your business. And this helps me to have this manifesto so that you can, if you wanted to, you could look at it every single day to remind you of what that soul of the business is, and what it is that you've got to try and connect with and engage with, those emotions that you want to try and make people feel, that experience that you want to give to people. So you can read it and you can refresh your memory as to what you're trying to put out there into the world, so that every time you create something, it really aligns with it. But I remember when I first came to create my business manifesto, it was actually really hard, and everything online that I found was kind of a really left brain activity stuff, and it didn't really help me I was just writing a bunch of nonsense, really, to be honest. However, something that has really helped me is an exercise that I want to share with you. This exercise is brilliant, and it can really help you to then sit down and write your manifesto. So the first thing you have to do is this. You have to get a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down and describe what your business would be like if it was a person. So imagine I asked you to describe what your best friend is like, and you're going to write me a letter telling me all about your best friend, what they're like, what they'd be like to meet up with for a cup of tea or a glass of wine, what they would be like if someone went and shared their worries with them, how they'd react, like all this stuff, like what they sound like. You'd be able to do it, wouldn't you, if I asked you to do it about your best friend? But could you do it if I asked you to do it about your business? Could you write me a letter and tell me what your business was like if you were describing it as a person. And I think this is such a powerful exercise, because when I did this for the first time, I felt so much closer to my business than ever before. I started to look at my business in a totally different light. It took these airy-fairy feelings and emotions, it took those that were so intangible and hard to grasp, and put it into a more tangible form for me, because I was picturing it as a thing, as a person, and like something that had its own heart and soul. And that made it so much easier for me to then stay connected to it, stay aligned with it, and then integrate that into everything that I was doing in my business. So the first thing you need to do is, like I said, get a pen and a piece of paper and write down or describe what your business would be like if they're a person. So is it he or a she? If you can, think about what they look like. This is something I've never quite been able to do. I always picture the Female Entrepreneur Association to be angelic, but that's about as far as I get with it. But I have then thought about what she would sound like if she was speaking, and I always imagine her to be like really softly spoken, but at the same time the kind of person that doesn't take any shit from anyone, and like is quite a strong woman. She is really determined and really knows what she wants to achieve, and she has this real self-belief about herself and all this other stuff. And I wrote down everything about her. I actually made some notes down here so I could share some things I wrote with you. I kind of put, she is wonderful, caring, loving, empowering woman. She's almost angelic. She's stylish and is all about presenting herself well. She's softly spoken, encouraging, but strong. She doesn't take any bullshit. And she definitely knows her worth and isn't ashamed or afraid of it, because she knows that what she is great. And so I wrote out a load of stuff, and it was just getting things out of my head about what I think about the Female Entrepreneur Association and how I would see her as a person. And then I even kind of wrote things like what she would be like if you met up with her for a cup of tea, and all of that stuff. And then by the end of it, I felt so much more connected to her and to the business, and it kind of changed my whole perspective on it. And then I looked back over it, and I could see these core words that kind of stuck out, these words that, you know, like she's wonderful, caring, loving, empowering. She's courageous. She wants to inspire, and pulled out these words and thought, this is the essence of the Female Entrepreneur Association. This to me is really what it's all about, and I always want to try and put that across in everything that we create. So from writing out all this stuff about describing her as a person, helped me to kind of pull it all together much more easily. And then I was able to refine it, so that I would go through things and I refine it more. So then I kind of ended up writing something which said, she exists to inspire and empower She exists to inspire and empower others to achieve wonderful things. She's always there when you need her to lift your spirits. When you feel like you can't go on anymore, you can rely on her to help you pull through. She'll encourage you, she'll help you to start believing in yourself again, because she believes in you. She cares about you, and she wants you to live an incredible life, build a successful business, and thrive. And then I went on, and so that was way more succinct and condensed than the first time, where I just basically wrote and wrote and wrote forever about everything I thought about the Female Entrepreneur Association. And then from there I kind of condensed it down even more and pulled out specific words that I felt were the real keys to what was at the heart and soul of the Female Entrepreneur Association. Things like inspire, empower, honest, caring, and loving. And then when I did this, I typed it up really nicely, and I have it so that I can look back at that as often as I want. So if I'm going through a phase where I'm in a bit of a funk and I feel like I've just kind of fallen out of sync with everything, I can look at it and refresh my memory and try and get back to that place of like, okay, Gary, picture the Female Entrepreneur Association as a person and reconnect with her, reconnect with the business, get back in touch with what it's all about, with the feel of it, with the essence of it. And I know this might sound totally crazy, but it really works. It really helps, because it makes things more tangible. It makes things easier when you can really picture something. It makes it easier, and I don't know, just easier to work with and to move forward with. Sometimes I've actually found at the end of doing this exercise that I have wanted to just put my arms around the Female Entrepreneur Association and give her a massive hug, because I just feel so it shifted the way I thought about it, and I was thinking about it as something completely separate from me, because I think so often we think of our businesses as an extension of ourselves. And because I felt like she was this thing, she was this person, and all of a sudden just felt like I love you so much. You've given me much experience. You've given me so many experiences, and you've enabled me to grow and develop in the most incredible ways. And yes, you have tested my patience. You've pushed me to the limit so many times, but you've also made me become a better person, a stronger person. And because of you, I've met so many wonderful people and done so many great things, and I'm so grateful for that. And it gave me a whole new level of appreciation for the Female Entrepreneur Association, put it in a totally different light. So I love this exercise. It's a bit crazy, but it is a really fun exercise. And like I said, once you've gone through it and you kind of got more connected to it, hopefully it will enable you to really kind of live through that person that you create, live through that business. And every time you create something, do something for your business, whether it is social media or creating a new product or service, that you can capture that essence, and that you can literally like feed it through every single part of that creation process, and so that other people feel it, so that other people feel what you want them to feel. And that's all part of creating that amazing experience for people, and you're doing it consciously. It's a conscious thing that you're doing. So give it a try, take some time and write out, describe what your business would be like if it was a person. In fact, leave a comment at the bottom of this post and sum up in one sentence, and tell or introduce to me in one sentence your business. What is he or she like in one sentence? I think it's a really powerful exercise to do, and it's a great way to get more connected to your business and closer to your business, and be able to really keep in touch with it on an emotional level. So give it a try, and I'd love to hear what you think about this and your thoughts on this. So definitely leave a comment, and I will see you next week for another dose of inspiration. P.S. I think I might have just waffled an awful lot in this video. I just had so much to say about it and so much I wanted to share with you, so it has gone on. If you're still watching this video now, then I am quite impressed.